I look at problems like, yeah, now we're getting somewhere. As soon as you fix a problem, you bottleneck into another one, especially as a new entrepreneur. But I'm excited about that. If I got a new problem, that means that I grew past.
I go, this is the problem with people. They have more money in their front yard than they do in their whole house.
Backwards.
I go, it's completely backwards.
So Powered by God was a tattoo that my best friend, who was murdered, had on his arm.
Triumph from tragedy, the way I overcome the devil mad at me. Farmer like faith, had to plant the seed. Now I work hard, we never take it for granted. We live into a standard, pass it down until it's mastered. I made it from a pallet to a palace and a castle. You can do it too, it's not too much for you to handle. It's that motivation, it's that fire.
What's going on, everybody? So on today's show, I have none other than Ron Williamson with Foundation. What's up, Ron?
Man, what's good? What's good? Good to be here.
Man, I'm so glad you're here. You know, I ran into your kiosk at Chandler Fashion Square or Fashion Mall. I don't even know what they call themselves.
Yeah, Chandler Fashion Center.
Yeah, I think they tried to be like Fashion Square when they first opened.
Yeah.
Now they're like Metro Center.
Yeah, they're evolving, man. They're actually adding some new pieces to it, like round one golf and kind of like main
that's a
event.
good thing.
Yeah, that's coming. It's great.
They got shields.
Yeah.
But you know, I found your kiosk and you know you're wearing a shirt powered by God.
Yeah.
And that, like, my wife and I were starting to walk by, and we're like, hold on, and not because it said God, but because it was nice stuff. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that look like have God all over them, and they like, I ain't buying those things.
Yeah, right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And so I was super impressed, and then you know we bought something, and so I was like, I gotta invite this guy on. So I'm glad you're here,
Yeah,
man.
No, I'm thankful.
Yeah. So I mean, how's it like powered by God?
Yeah.
You know, and then you have some scripture or I think there's scripture in the back,
It
right?
is. Yes, sir.
And you got a couple different styles,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from, powered by God?
So, Powered by God, this actually was, so you're the first person to actually hear this. So Powered by God was a tattoo that my best friend, who was murdered, had on his arm.
Wow.
And it was, I always thought, man, that's what a powerful tattoo to have. And when he passed away, I actually designed, this look, a couple years back, you know what I mean? And I was just kind of doing it for myself in honor of him. And then once I started the kiosk and stuff like that, I said, all right, let's go see if the people enjoy it as much as I do. So I put, Powered by God on the front, because we all are powered by God. And I want my clothes to literally be a wearable reminder to never stop finding a way to pursue a life of passion and purpose by building a foundation, which is a play on the word foundation, of faith, family, fitness, and financial literacy. And then on the back, which you guys will probably see if we cut to that, is I got Isaiah 54:17, which is no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the first rendition of the shirts didn't have powered by God on them?
They did.
Oh, so that's how you started powered by God?
That's how I started. This particular look.
Yeah.
Just the first shirts in general literally just had foundation on them, brand within itself. And then I just started to evolve from there. And then I came with Built Different, right? And Built Different, everybody has their own idea on what that means to them, which is great. And I love that. But for me, Built Different is mindset, because I thought that I had faith when I had belief. And what I mean by that is faith is risky. And I was told a story at church by Pastor Kyle, right? And he told me a story about a guy who was a unicyclist, right? So imagine this. So you got skyscraper to skyscraper, you got this tightrope going across, right?
Crazy,
and then so he rolls out there. It's a crowd of people there. So now we painting the picture. It's a crowd of people. He rolls out there, he rolls back, everybody cheers. Yay. He lets them know, look, that was pretty easy. I'm a professional. This is what I do. You guys want to see me do this thing backwards? You think I can do it? Everybody, yeah, I can do it. He rolls out there, comes back. He tells them again, hey, that was also pretty easy. So here's the deal. You think I can do this with somebody on my shoulders? Everybody cheers, yay. I need a volunteer. Everybody gets quiet. That's the difference between belief. They believe they can do it, but faith, it's going to require you to sacrifice something. It's going to be risky. And, that story is a big way to really be able to tell. And that's how it actually ended up in the malls. I had a great job doing my thing, no issues whatsoever, but I had this brand in my heart forever and a day, just doing it as a hobbyist, wearing it for myself, as I mentioned. And, you know, he hit me clear on the head. It's like, are you okay knowing that I gave you something? And if you're lucky enough to think before you die, are you okay knowing you didn't even try? And once that hit me, man, I was starting to have anxiety.
Yeah. Well, I think
so I took the jump.
Like when God gives us something, it's our responsibility to put that into action, whatever that is. Like, you know, when you hear that story of the 3 talents and the one didn't do nothing, I think he buried it or something. But like, he was basically like, that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, God took his and gave it to the other 2.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They wonder why they're broke, they're stuck, because they ain't doing nothing with what God gave them. You know, they're always, you know, they're people complain, they're praying to God to bring this and bring that when he's already brought all those resources somehow, some way, and you just didn't, you were not paying attention.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You just made a connection I had never made. That's the perfect example of that. Taking it and try to store it, and how can you grow it? He didn't give it to you to hide and store it, you know.
He gave it to us.
Put it out there. That's right.
You know, and we all have something inside of us. Like, you know, imagine if you never would have had this, you know, obviously it took your pastor to plant a seed inside you, you know, and then, well, the seed was already in you.
Yeah.
He watered it.
He did.
That's what he did, is he watered it. You already had the seed.
Yeah.
God put the seed in you. And so like him watering it, and that comes to like what people is, I tell people all the time, like, you know, we got to plant the seed. Someone can plant the seed, whether it's yourself or someone else. Someone can come and water the seed, you know, and then the harvest time is when you got to go to work.
That's right.
you know, and that's the thing is us as Christians or anybody is, if we can be part of that process, there's harvest everywhere. And if you keep doing it again and again, you watch, what's his name? It's a pastor on, real popular black gentleman, young. Do you watch?
Ballhead?
The one that puts spit on someone's face.
Oh, I've never seen. No, tell me.
Oh, he's really, really popular.
Yeah.
Super popular right now.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't remember his name. But, no, he did a sermon called Faith Like a Farmer. And it was so good because in the Bible, it talks about like, just like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, so if we have faith like a farmer, it's like, we're going to plant those seeds. We're going to, like, if we keep doing this over and over and over, the harvest there's harvest everywhere. You know, why do you have to have a harvesting right here when if you're planting seeds and plowing and watering everywhere and there's just harvests?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's like, you're doing that. I mean, I went through the same thing, you know, like I had this, like the construction thing in me, you know, I was doing it already and I wanted to start the company and I was afraid. And I remember going in my garage and there was some tools and God, like it just came to me. It's like not God like standing in front of me and saying it, but he was like, what I heard was, Chris, everything you have that you need is right here, right in front of you.
Mm.
You know, everything we have is like right in our hand, usually.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's up to us. It's up to us to have the level of faith. You know, so if we have the level of faith and we believe in the God that we know, well, how do you lose?
You can't.
You can't.
You literally can't. And there's no, we can talk into these microphones and we can talk into the crowd until our face is blue.
It may turn blue, guys.
Right?
The Smurfs.
But the only way to know is to actually do it. Because before I took the jump, I could talk all day about this stuff and tell you need to do this, you need to do that. But there's no way to be able to describe actually going for it and truly having some faith, which I know if you experience. Because, I mean, look at what you're doing, man. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
You build a magnificent company. You're giving back. You're actually, your harvest. You know what I'm saying? And so firsthand, looking
So
at
how
this.
was that? Like, okay, so you got a job. You want to do these shirts. You want to do this thing. You know this is in your heart.
Yeah.
Pastor talks to you. Like, how did that jump look? Because this is a thing for people like, this is a scary part, right?
Yeah.
Going on your own. This is the scary part. And this is what stops a lot of people. How was that for you?
I was running from it, honestly, man. I ran from that jump. And I was on my way over here, you know, I was talking to, you know, we call it family. And so I was talking to family, and I was saying, you know, I didn't want to go down this route of really like putting the brand out here, a faith-based brand, because I didn't want to be held accountable to the standards that, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I had to be, and I am, very unapologetic about who I am. I'm not out here acting perfect. I'm not acting holier than thou. I'm none of those things. I'm a man looking to get it right, actually taking the steps to get it right. And the people that tend to point their fingers, they're not doing an ounce of what I'm doing in the community or for myself. So I had to get to that point. So, you know, running from that, and then, you know, just knowing that I had something and I knew I wasn't in my true purpose. So taking that jump to answer that question, man, it was. So like
let's paint the picture.
Yeah.
Did you start the company and still have your job, or did you so you started the company? You're making sure it's at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Night, weekend, selling them. Where were you selling them at?
Yeah. So, man, actually, what people are going to find out now, for the people who don't know me.
We're getting a scoop on everything.
Yeah, you're getting a scoop on everything, for real. I come from a musical background, so I'm an artist first, so rapper. Okay. So I had a music career. I was going very far. I was doing music professionally for some time, and then I started working, and I had this brand, but it all derived from just like the music. It was family over everything, which then evolved into faith over everything, then it evolved into foundation. So the brand itself is faith over everything. This is the DBA of it all. But at the job, man, I was just wearing the stuff myself. People was asking, you know, hey, man, where's mine? And where's this? And where's that? Same thing with the music. And I just was doing like one-offs and doing stuff for the team. And I didn't anticipate myself being in clothing whatsoever. I just got walked into it. Yeah. But I always knew I like to dress nice, but very simply. And then also making people feel good about what they had on, man. But I made it official in 2014. That's when the LLC came about. So think about how long I was just doing it as a hobbyist. It's 2025, you know, and it was just like, all right, man, what are you doing? At this point, because the message has always been the message. At this point, you just running your mouth. Are you actually going to live what it is that you're telling people the brand is about? And again, I just tighter and tighter. He was squeezing me tighter and tighter. And then he said, now here's the deal. If you're lucky enough to thank me before you die, and I got a scar on my face that happened in an instant on a Christmas day, drunk driver, boom.
Oh, wow.
Just like that.
How long ago was that?
I don't know, maybe 20 years back at this point.
Okay.
But that was a key for me. Like, if you're lucky enough to think before you die, you know how fast these things can happen, don't you, Ron? Right? Are you okay knowing I gave you something and you didn't try, man? And that's what really like put me into that position to jump, because I was just running from it. I wanted to, and there's never a right time to actually take the jump. And I got people that DM me all the time. How'd you know when it was time? How'd you know when did you don't?
You don't know. It's you have to have faith. You have to believe. And if you have a spouse that has a good job and that's your backup, that helps. Right? Yeah. I didn't have that, but if you do, that helps. I know a few people that had that.
Yeah.
And but like, there's never a good time. What are you gonna wait till the right money till you get a bank loan? No, banking don't want to loan you money. They don't. Right. You're not doing anything special, right. You know. And you know, when are you going to get 500 customers? You're not yet, because they don't even know about you yet, because you're too afraid.
Too afraid.
They don't even believe a word you're saying.
They don't believe a word you're saying. And let's face the facts. And this is not offense to anybody working a job. I was doing the same thing. But they're paying us for our best hours. Yeah. You know what I mean? So do you still have the energy once you're done to be able to do it? And you got to be able to find that energy to do it. And the older you get, the more tired you're going to become. So, you know, when you're young, you can do both, you know, but the older you get, you can be like, oh, I'm done with people for the day type of thing. But there's never a right time, like you and I are saying. You just got to take the jump in order to find out. Nobody can describe it for you. Nobody can tell you when it's right. Nobody can do any of these things. It's faith for a reason.
When did you stop the job?
On my birthday. Actually, I took the jump March 13th of 2024. So it was my first year.
Oh, wow.
Taking the jump. I'm a brand new baby out here.
So how old is the kiosk? Is it that
June?
New?
Since June. Yeah.
Oh, this is fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh, man.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. And
there was this
took off right away.
Hold on, so you just jumped straight into the mall.
Well, it was a fast track. So I took the jump, and then I just started doing pop-ups in the city, right?
So like what do you mean, like drive somewhere or like an event or something?
They had like, they'll have a market here, a market there. So this dude, Abe, awesome dude in the city, doing some great stuff in South Phoenix. He has a company called K Suave, and he does pop-ups on the Sunday. It's called the Sunday Macadito, right? So we went there and opened up. We had just our one look and had some success there. Like, oh man, this is cool. Did that a couple times. Then we did like a shoe convention, and we went to a casino and did some stuff out in Maricopa. And we just started moving around, right? And I was like, enough's enough. Let's just go, So I took the jump into the mall, started working with them, and opened up in June, and it's been on ever since. But the moment that I took the jump, it just started to work.
Because God will provide.
Literally.
Like you have, like if you have enough faith, I swear, like people, whoever's listening, if you don't believe in God, just stop listening. I'm just kidding. but the power of God, like that, the level of faith and the power of God, like He'll make it happen. He'll make it work out. Like if all you have to do is do your part.
Correct. That's the key. You got to do your part. So I was willing to put in the work, put myself out there. Every single thing that I jumped into was 100% uncomfortable. I'm an introvert, man. I'm comfortable being in my head, being quiet, being silent. There's nothing about doing a pop-up meeting and greeting people that is okay for an introvert, where you have to talk to people. Yeah. And now let's put yourself in a high traffic mall scenario by yourself, and here you go. You got to meet and greet people. And then, you met Brad.
And you got a new bill. You got a new bill. You got to pay them all.
That's correct.
That was never there before.
Tons of new bills, actually.
Yeah. You got the shirt, but you got all that stuff. You got a couple employees.
That's right.
Brad, you met Brad. So, what kind? So, if you don't mind me asking, because I've never ran a kiosk at the mall, like, what's the length of that contract? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 2 years?
It can be. So, a couple years at this point. So,
that's good.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, so now you're going into it unsure. A couple years into
and you're like, man, I got to make this happen.
I have to make this happen. But this is when you're really gonna find out what you're made of. You got to be squirrels. If you always know you got this safety net and you got all these, are you gonna go as hard as you need to go in order to get to where you need to be and get to maximum growth? Yeah, And once you start getting there, the people around you, they have no choice but to grow, or you're just gonna get so far out of sight that you won't be in reach. So I'm encouraging the people around me, like, come on, we got to challenge each other. If you see things in me, call me out. I'm not one of those dudes that are so high and mighty on myself where I can't be called out. I want to be the best leader I can become. And a goal of mine is breeding as many leaders as possible. Yeah. So if you don't want to be challenged, I encourage you not to come around me, because I am going to challenge you.
That's good.
To become the best version of yourself from what I can see. And I want you to tap in and really work on getting a relationship with God, so you can figure out what that is, and let me add some gas to it if I can.
You've heard that saying, and I think it derives from like a real war, but and it did, but it was like, I forgot who it was. Basically, hey guys, if we want to take this island, we need to burn the boats.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Right? Yep. And it's like, it doesn't make sense. Well, how are we going to get back? Well, that's not the plan right now.
Right.
The plan is to take this island.
That's right.
And so that's what we need to focus on. And so you went and did it. I didn't realize you were that new.
Yeah.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah, man.
Because imagine, like, everyone who's listening to this, they're afraid. They're afraid to take, like you said, you're getting messages. How'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it?
That's
you're
right.
like, and then in your mind, like, I just did it. And they're like, they want to hear the secret sauce.
Right.
And you're like, there's no secret sauce. I just did it and went and worked, prayed, did it, went and worked, and then just kept going.
Kept going. Yeah. And we're just learning as you go. Learning as you go. Keep going. And you gotta keep God close. You gotta keep him close. You gotta keep Jesus close. You better. Yeah. Because he's gonna give you the path. He's gonna light the way. You just gotta be willing to do it. But he's never gonna put you in this space where it's just the super comfort zone. Again, if you are waiting for that, you are going down the wrong path. Yeah. I promise you. Yeah. I promise you. Yeah. So you got to be okay with that. I'm very much okay with it, and it's an oxymoron. So there's a sign up at the kiosk that you may have seen, like, you want to reimagine fear as the path you go towards, and failure as a sign to keep going. It's all backwards, right? So I look at problems like, now we're getting somewhere, because as soon as you fix a problem, you bottleneck into another one, especially as a new entrepreneur. But I'm excited about that. If I got a new problem, that means that I grew past a step. Now I'm fixing that. Now I'm dealing with like employees and, you know, that type of thing and getting that in line. And once that's in line, you bottleneck into something else. So I'm excited about that. Other people are like, problems, oh no.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
get stressed out, really.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the problem's good because it's revealed itself.
That's right.
Yeah, you want it to reveal itself, whatever it is, and then some people get stressed out and they're like done for the day. And stuff.
That's right. And you know, you had your moment, but you know, take your moment if that's what you need. Breathe, and all right, let's go at it again. You know,
what are some like struggles, like because everybody on Instagram only shows their wins. Half of these dudes are lying out there.
Yeah.
But what are some of the struggles like that you've went through? You know, whether it was ordering shirts or bad print or
all of it.
Yeah.
Bad print, for sure. Just things being botched by, or even by myself, just going through things, or, you know, feeling like you actually, I know this is going to be the one. Like the shoe convention, me and Brad, we went to work. So we did these by hand. We did something special for the shoe convention. We had these Phoenix Suns colors. We just knew this was going to be the one. Stayed up all night, tired as ever. We get there. This was like FedEx. They didn't see Phoenix Suns at all. They thought this was FedEx colorway, you know. So, So now you got all this stuff nobody cares about. You're like, oh man, shoot. We put in the work. So, you know, those things are definitely going to happen. You're going to have your ups and downs. And then, you know, right now, just trying to get everybody on the same page and showing them how to open up. Because what you're going to experience at my kiosk in the mall is unlike anything else you've ever experienced. I didn't even know I was going to experience what I'm experiencing. I just wanted to bring some light and know that I was building the kingdom through clothes, use this stuff as a wearable reminder to pursue.
I love how you do the bag. Whose idea was that with the bag?
Mine.
To write the scripture for the next purchaser.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So what you do is, what we did is we bought a shirt from a sweater, the same exact model. And Brad's like, hey, here's a bag. Write a scripture, and this scripture is for the next buy, like the next customer.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So my wife wrote out a scripture, and I just thought that, I mean, now I follow you guys and stuff, and I see it, but I'm like, it's super cool because someone else gets the scripture, and I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 of those people needed that.
100%, man.
They needed that. They're like, oh wow. Well, I don't know the reactions, but
it's insane. The amount of times that somebody's gotten a bag that it's exactly what they needed to hear, or they was just reading the scripture, or the tears that come. Like it's insane. It's insane. Like, you can't write this up. You can't fake this. How many times that's happened where, let's just say you wrote something and then literally the next person that gets it, they just start, eyes just wet, you know, coming in for a hug and the whole nine. That couldn't be nothing other than God. Can't nobody tell me anything different. It's not coincidence when it's happening on a daily basis, day after day, week after week, month after month. It's been going down. So yeah. So the funny story on actually how that came about, but you know, one, when you join the family, you got to pay it forward right away. Okay. So that's just a way of paying it forward to somebody who you may never meet, and you're encouraging them.
Yeah.
But it started with a problem. So speaking of problems, to tie it all together, my daughter was doing the bags. I had her branding the bags in the house. Yeah, just stamping them and just, you know, some stuff like that, just to get her engaged in the business and stuff like that, right? So she convinced me to pay her up front. I said, look, if I pay you up front, you ain't going to do it. You ain't going to finish. So she said, I will, I promise.
Hold on, how old is she?
She's 16.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, she got halfway there. So I went to work on, all right, how can I fire her and replace her? You know, that's basically where I got with
it. This is hardcore. He's like, I'm going to fire my daughter.
Yeah, you're getting fired. She's gotten rehired since. But
you got to teach, that's tough love. That's real love.
That's right. But with that problem, created something that changed the business, because it was like, okay, we can get one side of these things done because one side was done. How can I fix this? Right? And I said, you know what? I'm actually going to have people who visit the kiosk and join and make purchases write something to the next person. That's how it came about. It was from a problem, and God presented me the right way in order to be able to expand and encourage and build an actual community where people are literally supporting one another, encouraging one another to just do better, be better.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, no, I loved it. That was like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad's super cool.
Yeah.
Is he a partner of yours, or was it like
he's basically my best friend, man. He's been around forever and ever and a day, man.
Yeah.
So
he's got your back on everything.
Ride or die, man. Ride or die. Yeah, I love him.
He was a really good guy. But yeah, the whole thing was cool. But when we got to the bag part, I was like, oh wow, this is next level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, you get to bless someone else. You don't even know what a word or a scripture, whatever it is they write on it, that they're probably gonna need.
Yeah.
You know, because I know people will tell me stuff, and like I'm like, man, I needed that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could maybe I had a smile on my face, but they didn't know I'm going through some stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So Ron, like, were you born and raised in Phoenix? Where are you from?
No. Originally, I was born in Warren, Ohio. So Warren, Ohio, I was there from, of course, birth until about 11 years old, and I moved to Saginaw, Michigan, with my grandmother.
Okay.
So I was there, and then I moved here, some in the early 2000s at some time, and then being here probably about 5 or 6 months. Boom, that's when I got into that car accident, the drunk driver thing.
Yeah,
so it was, but you know, I had a rough past. You know, I'm from the streets.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So. That accident, really, I just think it was a way of, like, you got to pay for the
So
things
you're
done,
messing around and stuff. So how old were you when you had the accident?
I want to say maybe 23.
So early 20s.
Yeah.
So you were in Michigan, running around the streets.
Oh yeah.
Messing around. Did you go to high school? Did you finish high school?
I did. Yeah,
That's
I finished
good.
high school. Yeah, I finished high school.
Any college, anything like that?
Some, but it was nothing crazy. Like, I was a good football player, but you know, I blew my scholarship chances because I just wasn't focused on studies. Yeah, I was messing around, man. I was running the streets. I thought that was more important, you know, and thought I was so good that they'll oversee me not being there academically, even though I had the smarts to do it. Just lazy, man.
Yeah.
And lack of guidance. You know, I think I had people that would tell me things.
You weren't listening.
Wasn't listening, man.
Yeah.
Wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And my uncle, he changed my life. You know, I would lie to him. You know, I would lie to him. He'd be like, "What's this?" And I would lie to him. He would be so close to the truth that I just stopped lying to him and just start telling him the truth. And he was the first man that really started to wave the fog from in front of my eyes, so I could start to see.
That's cool. Is he still around?
He is, yeah.
So he's in Michigan?
No, he's not. No, he lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So we're close. We're super close.
That's cool.
And I just started really just kind of just following what he was doing. He was legit, you know, a legit man, doing his thing. He seemed to be having things his way. And without him saying, "Follow me," I'm like, I want to.
He's living a good life.
Yeah, he's living a good life.
He's got things that everyone else in the hood ain't got.
Exactly.
Like a house and 2 cars.
100%. You nailed it.
Some basic stuff that when you're living that bad life, you don't even have the basic stuff.
At all. So it just started to change my life. And then, you know, just from there, just piece after piece, just starting to wake up. And I've always been a good listener.
Yeah.
And I would take it and be like, all right, hey, I'm gonna apply that. I was the guy that was in the hood where everybody's laughing and pointing at, you know, a dope fiend, if you will. I was actually listening because I don't want to be like you, but you're saying something, and I've gotten jewels from people that were in a bad space with substance abuse, etc. So yeah, I just always been a listener like that.
So you've been here since you were 23. How old are you now?
I'm 44.
44. So we're same age.
Yeah.
So, that's what, 21 years?
Yeah.
21 years?
Yeah.
And you just kind of became a man here.
Yeah, I did, man. Arizona changed my life. I love AZ. Like, can't nobody tell me nothing. It changed my life. And it gave me an opportunity to really just become the man that I am now. I mean, some great people here, and the opportunity for you to, if there's something that you want to do or aspire to do, there is a path here for you to do it, but you do have to put in the work.
Yeah.
In the story.
Yeah.
And there's no other place that I visited where that's an actual option, because we just didn't have the resources in Saginaw. We didn't have the resources in Warren to be able to pursue everything like that. And if so, nobody knew how to get it, so you didn't even know where to begin.
Yeah, the environment, your environment matters.
That's right.
Who you're around. I mean, you hear those sayings like the 5 closest people to you is who you're like, or who you want to be like, or whatever it is, you know, and the environment really matters. Like, I grew up in a bad environment too. Yeah. And, you know, I remember I would talk crap about people that were wealthy. You know, I did a lot of drugs, all that stuff. I was bad. Only went to finish the 8th grade. You know, the last grade I finished, and but I would talk crap about like Scottsdale. I'd call them Snobsdale, just stupid stuff.
Yeah,
you know. And then now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm in Scottsdale a lot. Like I want to be around people that are doing better than me, or you know what I mean. Like I don't care what they look like. You know,
me too.
Like what color, how goofy, you know, whatever. Like it's like, let's roll.
Yeah.
You know, because if they're doing good, they're working their butt off too.
That's right.
It don't matter what they look like. They're working their butt off. They're making some right moves.
That's right.
You know, they ain't freaking the lazy bums, you know.
At all. And
it's like, I want to be around people that are real, that are working hard, that are working smart, you know, that want to be better and want more. It's like, why do you like, I was showing my kids the other day, and we were driving to our birthday party. This is probably a month ago. And we drove, and I'm not talking bad about, well, I guess I could be. I don't even care. But like we're driving through a little neighborhood, right? And we're driving to this house. We're passing this one house, and I go, look, guys, what do you see there? And they're like, okay, there's a Cadillac, there's a BMW, and there was like another car, all parked at that house, small house, like 1,200 square feet. I go, this is the problem with people. And because I was trying to show them something or whatever. Yeah. I go, they have more money in their front yard than they do in their whole house.
Backwards.
I go, it's completely backwards. Everything's all show and no go. It's like, dummy that stuff down. Go get you a Nissan or Toyota. Get you a house that's worth twice as much and move out of that hood.
Exactly.
Put your kids in a better community, a better school. Give them a better chance. These are simple things when we think about it.
Yeah, it is.
But again, the environment says don't do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like that crabology. You know, you've heard those stories too. It's like, you know, these guys are pulling each other down. You know, they don't even know any better. Yeah, that's just what they do.
It's just what they do.
It's just what they do.
And unfortunately, especially with with my people, black people, you know what I mean. It's bad.
Why you gotta go racist, bro? Why you gotta get racist?
I can't help it, man. Because we need to hear it. You know, we too busy competing. You know, I'm gonna stun on this and do on it, and that's the issue. Come together, and we need to be having more discussions like we're having. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not worried about outdoing anybody. Like you said, I want to be around the people that are actually making it happen. And you know, let's talk about some ideas and how things are happening. Share these things on how we can all prosper. We don't even have to be in the same industry, but the principles that to make things grow are the same. Yeah. Right. So I don't want to be the smartest man in the room ever. You know what I mean? At all. So you got the mindset of the type of people that I love to be around.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, from the moment that we shook hands, we immediately just start talking about ideas and talking about the right things. Yeah. And you know, when you in the hood and you can't see past the hood, and I understand what that's like. I was blinded. You know, I got lucky. You know, to have an uncle that cared enough about me to be in my eardrum to start waking me up. But it's hard to have those discussions, man, when you're surrounded by people that ain't talking about that and not focused on that.
Yeah,
you know?
I wish there was more talk like that in the neighborhoods, and you know, because it's the same thing in, you know, with the Mexicans, or I grew up, we call ourselves Chicanos. There's a lot of Mexicans now, but the Americans that are here, the Mexicans are Chicanos. Yeah. It's the same thing, you know. It's like, but they don't know any better. But then it's like, at what point as a parent are you going to make a decision to want to give your children the best life they can possibly have, right? Change your life to change someone else's life.
That's right.
It's our responsibility. Like your responsibility as a dad. You're married. Yeah. So as a dad and a husband, to be the best person for them. It's not always going to be pretty, right? You may not be home all the time. You may not be, you know, sending your wife roses every day or whatever. But the first thing you're out there is making sure your kids are at home safe. Make sure they got somewhere like they're comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, you're putting them in a good environment where they're safe. They're not getting shot at. Right. Bobbing and weaving, dodging bullets and stuff.
Exactly.
And, you know, Jose's neighbor came out with a machete, tried to cut his head off and stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah. Like,
for real?
Yeah. And I'm not talking bad about Jose. For real. I'm talking the truth. But that's the thing. But I grew up like that. Yeah. And I'm like, there's no way. You know, my kids have never seen me open a can of beer ever. Not that I hide it. I stopped doing it when early on. Man, and I never brought it into the house. I used to be a drug addict, all that stuff. And when I stopped, I was like, I'm done. And so like, I remember one guy brought in some beer. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, take it out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's like, if we show our kids something better, they'll do better. I mean, they're going to be exposed to a bunch of crap and stuff, right? But if we give them those tools, even if they go through something, they can come back out of it because they got that tool. They know, like, they're like, I got this wrench, I can use it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I tell my kids all the time, man, it's like, you ain't got no excuses. You can't say, oh, my dad, oh, my mom. You can't say any of those things at all. You know, good neighborhood, good school, you know, any path that, or any idea that you ever had, there was water being poured on it to blossom. And it's up to you. Yeah. It's up to you. So nobody's coming to save you. But at the same time, we're providing the best path that we can provide for you. So you ain't got to do the things that I was doing. Mm-hmm. So you light years away from that, which is great. And I love that. You know, so not going to make your own thing. You're not in nobody's shadow. This is your story. And if there's I've always told them, if there's a idea or something that you have and I don't believe in it, put me on the list. Put me on the list. I'll show you. You know, it's F me too. You know, if we got to get there. But I just want them to create their own thing, their own legacy. And
how many kids you have?
2. I got a son and a daughter, 21 and 16. Okay. So my son's 21, daughter is 16. Yeah.
No, you're right. Like I tell my kids the same thing. It's like, guys, there's no excuse.
Right.
You know how to live your best life. You know what God says. You know what the Bible says. You've seen us grow the business from scratch. You know, you've helped in it at all. Like, I mean, you came in here, 3 kids here.
Man, it was beautiful, man. I loved it. Every minute of it. Yeah.
And so they shouldn't have no damn excuses.
They ain't got none. They're watching it happen.
If they do it, if they screw up, it's on them. And I tell them, I'm like, it's on you. It ain't on me.
Right.
You know? You just better hope that you don't freaking screw me over that bad where I don't want to help you.
Right.
But I don't think they will. They're pretty good. That's super cool. So, and you met your wife here?
Yeah. She's from here, born and raised.
How long you been married now?
This is bad at this point. With 10.
10 years.
Yeah. Actually, just over 10. So
Nice.
like 11.
Yeah.
So,
and then does she have a job? Is she in a business or what's like?
Yeah, she's like in the human resource medical world. You know what I'm saying? So she's a director, stuff like that in the medical world, doing her thing. So that's like a plus because she understands like the HR side of things that
so she's giving you the scoop and stuff.
So if I need it, So that's a plus. That's a plus, you know. But you know, they even kind of talk about some of those things, man. You know, for somebody out there that may have an idea, you know, that you got a girlfriend or a wife or a husband, you know, it goes both ways, and they might not be on board.
Well, not the people. They don't go both ways. If you're a woman, you got a husband. You're a man, you got a wife.
Well, 100%, 100%. So, if they're not on board with your vision, you know, because I used to want to involve, just like how you got the family, everybody's here. That's amazing. It's what I always wanted. And I wanted everybody to be involved in what I had going on. And I would find my times becoming mad or maybe a little bit bitter that they didn't have the same passion or the drive that I had about it. But I had to check myself and say, this is my vision. This is my dream. Yep. You know, how can I be upset with somebody not being on board with something that is mine? They got their own thing. And so I'm saying that to anybody out there that may be struggling with that same thing, where you're feeling like you're not supported or not feeling like they're excited about you. It's your thing. Yeah. You got to make it happen and put yourself in position enough where they can get excited about it if that's to be. Yeah. But until you put in the work to make that happen, how could they be excited? Yeah. Are you doing everything you need to do in order to get them excited? Yeah. Start checking yourself.
And this is like, how's the support? I'm just curious. Like, I'm sure she's got to I'm sure there's fights about it and, you know, you're tired and especially early on. Right, but I'm sure she's there, like supporting you, cheering you on.
Yeah, for sure. Never a fight, man. To be honest about it, it's just like, go get it. Yeah, you know.
Don't be coming to me crying.
Yeah. You know, if you got it, then great. But go get it. You know. So that was pretty much the gist of it. Stop making the excuses, and just go get it because you got it.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that though because that means she believes in you.
Yeah.
And I that's another thing I see is like. I talk to people, a lot of young entrepreneurs, and like they're fighting with their wives and stuff. And it's like, if you guys are not on the same page, there's a big issue.
A major one.
You know, it's like I tell people maybe they're not entrepreneurs and one goes to church, one doesn't. You know, and it's like, oh, you guys got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You know, you better pick something or like one's a Catholic, one's a Christian. You guys got to get on the same page.
Somehow, some kind of way.
Somehow, you got to get on the same page because I mean, that's biblical.
It is.
You know, and I'm glad you guys are on the same page. It's like my wife, you know, it's similar. Like, you know, I remember like she told me we got in a fight one time, and we've worked together all these years. We work together here, and we run the church.
Wow.
She's the boss at church. I'm the boss here.
Yeah.
Right. But we work together. Like, we're involved in everything.
Yep.
Our life is our work. It's, you know, and so it gets hot and heavy. It gets loving. It's everything. Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, she did tell me, you know, because one time I was mad and you're not helping me enough and this and that. And she's like, you know, she basically told me, and I don't think she said it this way, but like, it's like kind of like, you know, I gave up my dream to support you in your dream.
Mm.
And I'm like, holy Jesus.
Yeah.
Because it is my dream, you know, because I would put so much pressure on her. I still put pressure on her, just not as much these days.
Yeah.
And I would put all this pressure, and then, you know, she would tell me that, and like, it took me years to realize, to stop, you know, because like you said, I'm glad you said that, because it's our dream. It's our baby, right? They're going to support us. She's going to take care of you.
Right.
You know, you're going to be all sad and she's going to rub your head and whatever, scratch your back or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it's your baby. And that's what we need to understand is like, it's mine. It's my baby. You know, you can't, it's just like when you're hiring employees, you know, when you start growing, you have more employees.
Yeah.
You can't expect them to work like you.
Exactly.
They never will. You hope, I mean, one may, you hope so that they come through hardcore.
Right.
But you can't expect them to, you know.
That's where I'm at now. So
is it?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve because when you're hiring employees, you know, I don't want to bash people, but like a lot of people lie, you know, or you think you have the best for them, like you hope the best for them, and they don't come through, and then you're like, well, I can do this and this and that. You know, it took me 5 minutes, and it takes them, you know, like an hour and 45 minutes. It's like, dude, like you suck. They're just different.
Right.
You know, they're built different. They're not as passionate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your passion will drive you faster than anybody.
All day long. That's why I talk about it a lot. It's like, if I can get somebody in there to do 70% of, I feel like we winning.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get me 70, if you give me 70 of what I would come to, is I don't expect you to be me. You know, all right, I can work with that because we can expand upon that. But if you coming in there at 40%, and, you know, below 50s, and, you know, and everybody's booked, that's an F. We got to get you moving along. Yeah. You got to go figure some other things out before you come back.
Create some goals. I don't know if you're doing that, you know, when you start growing, and we are growing, but when you start adding more and more people to the team, just make sure you have goals set for them, you know, written expectations. Mm-hmm. You know, hey, if they're doing shirts, hey, listen, so if you're like, out, like we do mock-ups down there, like a little role play. Yeah. When we're doing estimates and stuff, and then, we'll talk about something. I'll say, well, let's role play this. Okay, if I'm doing it, but if Johnny's doing it, how much slower is that?
A lot.
That's what we're gonna bid it at. That's what I'll tell the guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna slow down the pace. You know, we're not gonna do it like if someone else is doing it. We're gonna bid it like almost if our slowest guy is doing it. Mm. You know what I mean? And what happens, and it sounds wrong because you want to bid it like the fastest guy. The problem is today's world, it's not like that. So then you start judging people for not being able to keep up with the speed that you created. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you gotta imagine creating a racetrack that I created for Ferraris, but I just brought a bunch of Fords in. You know, and not Ford McLaren or whatever. I'm talking about Ford Taurus or Ford Bronco. You know what I mean? Right. And so we have to put them on the right racetrack. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's where, you know, as your challenge comes in and everyone watching is like, okay, are they capable of doing it? How can we give them goals? You know, if you're pressing, you know, okay, this is going in a slow motion. You know, you do it in 2 minutes because it's like 30 seconds. Yeah. You know, it's 2 minutes a shirt or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe you're faster. I don't even know.
Right.
And they're doing it in 4, you know, but maybe you're like, okay, what if we did it at 3.35, you know? And then now you set the goals like, all right, you can do it in 3 minutes, whatever. That should give you, you know, 40 shirts. And now they have numbers, you know. Do you do it like that?
Yeah. You know, you're speaking the language for sure. Is
I know the time scale. I've been watching a lot of videos.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Right. Exactly. You know, so you're not wrong at all. And definitely the name of the game. So I'm glad you're saying what you're saying, because again, my goal is to grow to where you are. So, and we're on track. So if you don't want to repeat yourself, I advise anyone out there you need to get stuff on paper. You need to set expectations. And what I'm working on now is actually creating videos you can watch. Yeah. Even interactions like up at the mall, it may be a little comical, but you know, the type of people you're going to meet at the mall, and how do you actually deal with that, and showing people how to overcome some of these different personalities, because it's not like we're just up there selling people. Look, you're into this thing or you're not, but if you're interested, let's actually connect with people and be human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not hey, you got shirts. I'm not trying to push anybody. That's not the culture that I'm creating there at all. We are trying to literally encourage people to become the best version of themselves. Mm-hmm. We're talking about light. We're talking about God. We're talking about the inside, you know, and getting what you got here and here out here. That's the culture that I'm creating there. So how do you do that, you know, in conversation without it coming across like you're being some type of sleazy sales guy or something? That's not.
Yeah, I like that you're doing the videos, because the videos are the easiest thing. Yeah. You know, they can see it. They can see the interaction. They can see how you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that way with the video, we're doing video stuff right now. A lot of videos, on the computers.
Yeah.
But with the video is, you don't have to be there to teach no more.
That's right.
You know, so all you guys watching, make these little videos of whatever you're doing. You know, if it's putting a carpet down or whatever, like, here's how I do this room and how I clean up. And, you know, because even if someone knows how to lay carpet or whatever it is, they may not do it to your expectation. Mm-hmm. Because they just came from another company where they sucked.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're dirty and whatever. And now you're teaching them how to do it the right way. So like you said, rinse and repeat. Watch the video. Watch the video. Watch the video. Here's the link. Here's the link.
It's going to show you everything.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah. So that's going to be the key. Now you ain't got to repeat yourself like talking to your kids. Did you clean your room? Did you clean your room? Did you clean? No. There's a video there for you to watch. You already know exactly where we need to be. So quick. So that's the phase that I'm in now, is actually, okay, I have a list of things that need to get done. I mean, all the way down to the smallest things. Like, this is how you unlock this thing. This is how you tarp it up. This is how... all the small things that I should have been recording along the way, now I'm going back and just doing it now. So it's good.
That's good. That's real good, because like you said, is you hire someone new, they forgot what you told them, they have the video. Yeah. Oh, hey, Ron, how'd you do that? Hey, I sent you that video, remember? Oh, shoot, I remember. Yep. Boom. Yep. You don't have to, they're done. The conversation's over.
Yes, it's over.
And then now they remember again, go back to the videos. Go back to the videos.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. So what's next for Foundation, for Ron, for the fam? What's next?
You know, it's really just telling the story, because, you know, I'm in storytelling. You never stop telling your story, but you know, that's really the thing, is really getting good at really just letting people know what the brand is about, telling the story so we can expand into another location and grow things online simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Because the more I can tell these stories, the more I can show my face, the more I can show the team and just these different things on what we're looking to do, the better off we'll be, the more people we can give. Because I got a big goal. I've been giving forever and ever. So that's a big goal for me, is that I want to give more than I've ever given this year.
That's cool.
Ever.
Yeah.
So you can't do that if you're not growing, if you're not doing the things that you need to do. So that's really on the page, is just focusing on business at hand, getting people in position so I can elevate out, right, and put my focus on other things, which that's the space that I'm at now. I got people in place. So now, okay, what can I do to help us scale and get these stories told online, mm-hmm. and put us in a position where we can give more?
Yeah.
So,
and when you say give more, like what are you talking about?
Time, money, clothes. Like last year, for an example, and again before it was even real, you know, $5,000 at a minimum worth of just merchandise in general, not including like tithing and, you know,
so
other
you're
things.
giving it to different people and blessing them, like, hey, I think you need this shirt, like, boom.
Yeah, 100%. So like a couple days ago, actually, what was this, on Sunday? So there's a place out here called Church on the Streets. They call it COTS. So I went down there, with these same Powered by God hoodies that everybody loves, a bestseller, you know, and I bless those guys with, you know, with hoodies, you know, stuff that everybody want, not cheap stuff. You already know the quality is there.
I paid the price.
There it is, man. So I went down there, those guys.
Really good.
Those
really
guys
good.
down there, Cots, I blessed those guys with a bunch of hoodies and tees and stuff like that. And it was cool. It was cool, man. So that type of thing. I like to go down into the neighborhoods and really connect with the people in that way. And
let me know next time how I can help. You know, because I love doing that. We've done all kinds of missions, and I mean we've given the homeless. I mean, I don't know how many times. You know, we would get, like, for a while we had our ministry, it's called Hope Dealers. We would get truckloads of food and take them to Sunny Slope and set out like 15 tables full of food every weekend. And just give out food, hot food, cold food, frozen food, everything, because we would get all the donations.
I like that.
So we like to give, and then, you know, I would buy, like, in the wintertime, you know, buy like 200 beanies, you know, and gloves, and, you know, so
Essentials.
Yeah. So whenever you do something else, let me know if you know, if I can get involved somehow.
Man, I would love the same thing. Yeah, because I want to get more engaged again. I was watching. I watch your page. You say a lot of things. It resonates directly with me. And again, when I first got, I was saying, like, you was giving. You was like, look, guys, I'm not trying to brag by any stretch. That's not what I'm doing here. But look what we've done. Yeah. Look what we're doing. Look what we've been in a position to do by trusting in God. I love that. I love that. So anything that you got going on where it's in a scenario like that, or just in general, if I can do it, I'm there.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. So where can the audience find you?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I got to get better with the TikTok thing, but it's all the same. It's Found, FOUND, nation.co. And it's the same thing with the website. I just wanted to keep it consistent.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
You can go to foundnation.co, jump on the site, take a look around, see what we got going on. And if you're anyone out there that's just looking to be a part of what we got going on, I'm hiring. So that's a good thing. We got some spots open, and would love to meet you if you are open to, if you want to be supported, encouraged, and challenged, because you will be challenged. I promise you that. But in a good way.
And you're in Chandler. You're based out of Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler. Yep. So way to circle me back in here. So down at the Chandler Fashion Center, you can't miss it. If you come through the food court and just walk straight ahead.
Right there.
Right there. You cannot miss me. Right across from Hat Club, and the opposite side will be GameStop. Yeah.
Nice.
So come on down. Yeah, we'd love to meet you.
And one last thing, a good nugget, power nugget for the youngsters out there trying to make a change in their life, or trying to maybe, you know, someone just trying to be better. What would you tell that person?
You know, one, you don't know everything. So take a step back and really ask yourself, because I think a lot of people really don't ask themselves, what do you actually want? Ask yourself, you know, the youngsters, ask yourself what you want, and it's okay to not know what you want. And then look around your circle, the people you have access to. Is there anybody that's in your reach that is living the type of life you want to live, or doing some of those things? Don't be so proud to go and ask them, what are they doing, or some things that you could be doing to get you going in the right direction. Because when I walked through this door, you had a big sign that says, your ego is not your amigo. And so that would be my advice, is let go of the ego. Don't be too proud to ask for help, ask for guidance, and to get you going in the right direction, because that was something that I was doing. I was too cool. And if you're too cool, you will lose. You're wasting time.
Yeah.
Just ask people how they're getting it done. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much information Chris will give you to get you going. Yeah. You'll be surprised on how much information I'll give you and how many resources I'll give you to get you going. But if you're too cool to ask, you'll never get it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's just no different than when you get in your car and you're going and hitting up the address in Google. You're getting information from Google. You just ask Google. The same way we got to go get that information. The last thing you want to do is get in that car and start driving.
That's right.
Not knowing what you want.
That's right.
I love it, guys. So Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like all of our stuff, and be blessed.
Be blessed.